Hey everyone, hope you are doing awesome. Welcome back to my channel PEGAhut with another video. Thanks everyone for subscribing to my channel, and if you haven't hit the bell icon yet, please do so you won't miss any of my videos. Today we are going to continue discussing about Activity Advanced Part 3 video as planned. Today I am going to explain what's the best way to use the object methods to update a case automatically and how to handle inflight cases in production. Before watching this video, I would strongly suggest you to watch my activity introduction, part 1, part 2.1 and part 2.2 video so you would understand the functionality in the right way. So without doing any further delay, let's get into it. Okay, to start with, I have this use case in front of you and I'm going to explain step by step so you would understand. So the first step, let's focus on the first step. Let's say you got a requirement wherein your business or client has asked to fulfill this requirement, wherein you'll have three stages. One is collect info, another one is review info, and third one is resolve. The first stage, you'll have only one step which will collect the info like first name, middle name, last name, and ID number. And the second stage wherein you can review those information. Okay. So let's first and third stage will be resolve completed, right? Let's first try to achieve this, and then we'll take it from there. So what I did is I've actually created a case type called activity advanced concept to achieve whatever the requirement we have got. So let's rename this instead of creating any other stage. Let's rename it as collect information, right? And then also let's rename this also collect information. Okay, and rename this on also collect information. Okay. Now in this stage, let's create another stage. Now let's name as review information, and here step and collect information, let's put review information. So basically, until now in all of my other videos, I have shown you guys how to create things manually. I never had created anything from the case type explorer. So this is the first time I'm doing it. This is another fastest way of doing it. But whenever you wanted to learn something, it's always for initial time, it's always good that you do manually, and so that you learn a lot. But because of the nature of this video, I don't want to focus any of the creation part. I wanted to focus only on the activity. That's why I'm creating it automatically. So whatever I'm doing in the case explorer, internally it creates the set of rules that it needed. I'll just quickly show. For example, this I have created. Right now I'll save it. Okay, now we'll create another stage. So this is how we generally design. I mean, not this is how we design in a different way, but this is one of the way where you can design your case type and other activities. Now here, if you see, I got three stages with me now. Now what I'm going to do, after you create three stages, you have created collect information where you want to show this forfeit, right? Before that, as per this is the status that I wanted it to be created for different stages. So for collect information, let's say you are going to make new status. For review information, let's say you are going to have in progress status. It is not there, so let me create another one. And I mean, when you click here and save it, automatically internally Pega will create another py status for filled value. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say result completed, right? So I'll save it. Now here the first thing is in collect information I should have this forfeit. So what I need to do is I'll click on collect information and then I'll click on configure view. So this is where I click on the assignment, I click on configure view. Here I'll delete these two fields, whatever predefined field, and here I'll start adding those fields. So let's say I'll say first name, submit and add on. So when I create first name, basically internally in that particular class, in App Explorer, it will create a property called first name. I'll show you in a while. Submit add another, then I'll say last name, submit add another, then I'll say I think there is a middle name, so I'll say middle name. Okay, submit add another, and then I'll have a ID number, I guess. ID number, yeah. ID number, okay, and submit. So then I'll do a submit here. So that means when I do submit and I do save, what it does is basically internally it created those property and also section. So if I go to App Explorer, if I just refresh it, activity advanced concert. So if you see all those property that you created, it's getting created here. All because you did configure view is nothing but it created the section, so it shows create section. But if I click on, because that's the section name, but if I click on create section, you will see first name, last name, middle name, ID number, whatever I have added, because we have just renamed this create section to collect information to show on the front. Now second, what I need to do is in the review harness, I wanted to review, as in make things in read only mode. Again same, go to configure view. So here, instead of adding those field and making it read only, let's directly bring the section. So let's bring this section directly here. And what you can do is you can make it read only. Now you submit it. So I'll save it. Okay. Now let me do one thing. Let me save and run in this case. So when I save and run, okay, so I'll give first name as, let's say, John, second, last name is Smith, middle name they don't have one, and ID number, let's say H87, something like that. Okay. Now when I click on submit, now what will happen is my case status will change to in progress, and note this number A7001. Now if you see, they all came as read only mode, right? Now just to look at little fancy way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this section. Okay. Now I'm going to open this section. I'll click on the convert to full section editor. Okay. And I mean, maybe if you would have seen my other videos, you would have known by now that I don't like this particular format. So that's why I always go for another presentable format. So click on other, and then here start with level left. Yeah, that's the one, start with level left. So do a submit here, do a checkout, save it. Okay, so this is how it's gonna show. So but again, that's not something that is essential, but I've just created that. Now what you can do is, now A7001, right? Now let me note this number which we have created, A7001. Okay, this is my case ID basically, right? Now let's create another case ID. Okay, now I'll do a save and do not do anything here, just do a save it. Just do a save, and then you can close this one. Okay, now let me create another save and run another case ID, where I'll give first name is let's say Star, last name is Kokomo, and middle name is nothing, ID is something. Okay, so now if I click on submit, as you could see, my this collect information has got all this as in review information, it got all this read only mode, right? Now save it. So the case ID just note it down as A7002, and the status, as you could see, is in progress. Now what I'll do is I'll note it down A7002. Okay. So we good. Now first step is done. So let's say now what you did is you have pushed this changes to production. Okay, now it is in production. So people who do not know what a production box is, basically, in Pega, we deploy our code in multiple environment, starting from dev to production. So let's say whenever you go Facebook or go online SBI or anywhere, any things that you click, okay, whatever you user directly see, those are in the production box. So first we obviously have a similar box called dev, and then we develop that and put that into SIT and UAT environment, wherein end-to-end tester and all, they will test and make sure our code quality and defects are not there, all things are fixed and all. Once they approve, then we will take that and put that into staging and production. So just a very high level is what I wanted to call that out. Now it is in production, and let's say in production you got these two cases created now, right? Now your client has come up with another enhancement to that. Say what they told. Now while doing collecting info here, now add a ID type drop down, and those value has to be passport, DL or other. Okay, now to make this and if the user chooses one of them, that's where you will show the ID number. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in manual way. Until now I was showing to an automated way, right? So what you can do is, here you go here and drag a drop down. Okay, First thing is drag it drop down. Now this drop down, name that as ID type. So what you can do, type dot ID type. Now here, because obviously the field is not there, let's create one. Okay. Now here ID type, everything is good. Now I'm going to create this one. Let it be text. Okay. I don't mind. Now here table type, right? Make it a local list or prompt list, whatever you want. Let's make it a local list. Now in local list, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy passport, and then I'm going to copy DL, and then I'm going to copy other. Okay. Okay. Now I'll save it. Now ID type is saved. Here, what I'm going to do is I'll also check in this include placeholder. I'll do this. Here I'll put select. Okay. Select dot 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 dot. Now here, what I want, like I told, when the user would choose ID type as passport or DL, that's where I want this to be visible. Until they choose, I don't want this to be visible. So that means what I need to do is double click on this same ID type, go to action, click an event and action. That event should be your on change, and then action should be just click on the refresh harness. That's all you need to do. Okay. Now in this refresh section, not harness. Okay, refresh section. Now here in ID number, because initially it has to be hidden, only when you choose it has to be shown, right? So to do that, in the visibility condition, just come here and click on expression, and in the expression just click on this gear icon and say if ID type is not equal to blank, that's where I want this to be shown. Okay, that's all you need to do. Okay, and run visibility, keep this as is. That's all you need to do. Okay, now I'll show you how it whether, so now you have done the implementation, it's all good. Now what you're gonna do is you're going to just do a quick refresh. So you don't need to, but I just did it for safer side. Now I'm going to click save and run. Right now I click on save and run. Now here, as you could see, ID number is no more visible, right? So let's say first name I put XYG, last name ABC, or middle name something PQR, and then here when I do select is the placeholder I put, that means it's still blank. When I do passport or something, that's where you will see this ID number came, right? If I say DL or if I say other, that's where you will see this ID number came. Now for this one, what I'll do, I'll say passport and P0 something something, and then I'll go and click on submit. Right now, when you submit, obviously you're gonna see the same thing in the review. So this is the stage 2, right? So if you click on this bar, collect information done. Now this is the review information. So now it is done, and you just do a submit. This activity will be or this particular case ID, which is A7703, will be result completed. Now obviously you had done the changes as per the client requirement. Now you need to push it to production. That's all good, but you need to think one of the things called something called inflight cases. Now what is inflight cases? So inflight cases are the cases which is running in or which is there in the production and it's not yet completed. You need to think, okay, like as a lead, I need to think to whether there are any impact to the inflight cases because of this section, because you had done a change in the section, right? That means obviously that if the existing cases or existing cases will be not completed, then there will be a chance that it may impact to the section. So you need to think about it. Right now I'll show you what does it mean by that. So what is our case? 7001 7002, right? Now if I go, so if you remember, my ID number, okay, is dependent on my ID type, right? If I choose ID type, that's where I should show the ID number. Now that is in the create section, or automatically eventually it will be in the read-only mode in the review section also. So if I open my inflight cases, let's see what is happening. To open the inflight cases, what you need to do, you need to come to the class, okay, and just click on that class. Okay, now A701 702, what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm opening 7002, and if I say begin, right, so you will see, as you could see here, right, that we had given ID type, we had given ID number, right? You could see this ID type is blank, obviously, because this is what the new changes that we had done. Oh, and obviously for this, when this case is created, we haven't chosen this ID type. We had only given the ID number. Now, is the ID number vanished? No, it actually not. if you click on the clipboard for this particular case, now if I go to py workspace, now if you see the ID number is still there, but only because of the when condition that we put, if you choose ID type, that's where I need to show the ID number, right? I need to show the ID number. But here, because the ID type is blank for this particular case, and the case is going to still use the same section, that's why it's going to impact. So now here, to resolve this, there are two options. Option one, circumstance. Circumstance is a feature wherein you can show the same section for all the new cases, or you can show a different section for all the existing cases, right? So that means whatever old cases are there, they can see the old section. Whatever you have changed, you can show the new section. To do that, you can go to that particular section. There is specialized by circumstance. You can use this, but again, that is a different concept altogether. If your client told that, okay, no, I want also those cases which is there in production or in-flight cases, I want them to also show the ID type, but you do one thing, you make the ID type as other, because obviously they haven't chosen, so make it other, and whatever ID number they have given, just show them. Don't create a circumstance rule, just show the same section. So that is where my advanced activity concept will come into picture, right? Now what I need to do is I need to update, I need to write an activity. I need to update all the inside cases that is there in the production. Okay. So how do you do that? To do that, first thing first, let's create an activity first in the same class, right? Now what I'll do is I'll say, I'll go create technical and activity. That activity name I'm going to name as update inside cases. And we remember, we are going to run this individual activity in production to update those cases. Now I'll show you how to do that. And trust me guys, this is one of this concept which you wouldn't have heard or told, but 90% of the project where they have this project and they are doing enhancement and all, we always have this update inside cases activity where we run in the production if I don't want to use the circumstance and if I wanted to update all the inside cases. Okay, so if you remember, the first thing first, I need to do object browse, right? So you need to make it in a dynamic way. You are not going to hard code those case ID because you don't know at the day of production how many cases are there, right? So that means here you need to understand one thing. Let's say if the user is in collect info screen, right? Now when they will, or let's say they save it and they will reopen it again, then they will again change all, they will again see all the changes that you had done because they are in the same screen. The only problem when they go to this screen wherein in progress status is where the problem is. So that is where we need to basically update all the cases that is in progress. And the first method that we are going to use is object browse, right? Now here in object browse, as I told, I need a page name and class, all these things, right? So first thing, let's create a page name in page and class. Here I'm going to say temp page. You can put XYZ page, anything. It's a temporary page anyway. It is going to be stored. It will help you store all the output that Pega will get from the database. Now here the class will be code-pega-list. Right now the class I have chosen. Now just copy this template, put it here. Now my template is there. Now object class, right here, what class I should, so you know that I'm going to get the details from this class, right? So just put the object class here. And like I already told you guys that never hardcode this object class here, always get it from parameterize, but here I'm going to just hardcode for this purpose. You can create a parameter. And okay, let me do this one. Let me put class. Okay, now here what I'm going to do is, okay, and here in the parameter class, and I'll say default value this one, so automatically it will come. And here what I'm going to do is param.class. Okay, oops, sorry, param.class. Okay, now max record, I'll leave that as is, and I'll leave everything as is. Now I just focus on the logic. Now what should be my logic? Like I told, my logic should be py status. So in progress, right? It's the status. So if I go here, I'm doing this for the people who are very new, right? Now if I go here, let me click on this. So if I open this, so what is the status? In progress, right? This in progress status, if you go to clipboard, okay, now if you go to py workplace, so there is something called py status work, right? This is where it stores, Pega stores in progress in this particular field. So I'm going to copy this field and I'm going to do put them as my filter condition. So I'll say dot py status work. Here I'll say is equal. Here I'm going to again paste the copy the value which is in progress here, right? I'm going to copy the value here in progress. Now here I'll put level as A and then logic I'll put A. And I'll put, and also I wanted to just see the PYID, so I don't need to put anything. I'll just say PYID. So PYID is nothing but your ID field. So if I go here, so if I search for PYID, this is nothing but my case ID. I just wanted to get the case ID as value. I don't want to search anything. So I'll say PYID, I'll paste it just to be value only, right? So I'll not put anything. Now I'll do save here. Now here object browse is all good. Okay, now let's do this or test this step by step. Now second step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to whatever result Pega got, I'm going to see that page. So there is a method called show page, and here all I'm going to do is put the temp page here. Now if I do checkout, save, okay. Now let's first run this and see. Technically, based on our condition, here I should get 7001 and 7002 in my response, right? Now what I'll do, action and run. Here I'm gonna turn on the tracer and let it run in the background. Okay. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it. Now because I did a show page, so what it will do, it will give me a XML format of it. So if you see, PYID I could find A7002 and PYID I could find 7001, and also because I have done a select field, so status work is also coming. People who are not comfortable with this XML format, they can also go to the tracer. So if you go search for just temp page automatically, because I put that page. So if you click on here, you can find this the same value, right? Now this much is done. So now my cases are coming. So whatever in progress status is there in production, everything is coming. What I need to do is, so once I got it, if you would have noticed here, I think I need to show you this one again. If you would have noticed here what I'm doing is my temp page, and there is a property called px result, as I have explained you last time, and it is an array, right? So now I got more than one. So I need to loop each and every property result, and then I'll try to open this object, and then I need to set those property, and then I need to commit the object. This is what I need to do. Okay. To achieve that, so let me write it down so that you would understand. So to achieve that, what I'm going to do, so step one, okay, step one, I need to loop the object. Okay, loop the object. It's the golden rule. Most of the time you're gonna do the same thing. Okay, and then open the object and have a lock on it. Third, save the set the property, whatever you want to set the property. Fourth, save the object, and 5, commit the object. That's all you need to do. Okay, so let's do one by one. So first thing is loop the object. Here I'll just put comment for the timing, and then I'll say loop repeat for each embedded page. Now which embedded page that I need to do? Temp page dot px result. Okay, if I do, automatically I'm going to find px result here. So I'm going to do temp page px result. So at the moment my temp page has got 2. So I'm going to loop in each px result. Okay. Now because I've got 2 cases, so obviously for each loop it should be a child step for this particular case ID. Now I need to create a child step here. So here I need to add a child here, and I'm going to do object open. Okay. Object open. Now here you are going to open the object, right? Now what would be my class? My class should be again param.class, isn't it? So to when I say param.class, that means obviously it belongs to activity advanced concept class, because I know my case ID. So if I get this object px result, now here px result, px object class is what? XYZ PEGAhut work hyphen activity advanced concept. That this is what I was telling on the other day. This is the beauty of px result. It changes its form depending on whatever the object it gets. Now this object is this, when I say object, it is also case ID, it is also PYID. Now this object belongs to this class. That's why this px result changes its form, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an object open, and in that object open I will say param.class, and then here I'll have a log, because I'm going to update the property. I will have a log. I will also release the log uncommit, because I don't want to have a log all the time, because here we are updating temporarily, right? Once I update, then if the actual user going to open the case, they should be able to do that. If I not release the log, then obviously they won't be able to do anything for next 30 minutes, right? Whatever the default locking mechanism Pega has. Now lock info page, I'll just say lock info page. Okay, and here now one thing you need to understand, that what property name that you need to put. So this property, first thing, this property name is always you put PYID. That's the safest option. Okay, I would say always you put PYID. Now where is my PYID? Now my PYID is in PX result, right? Now when I wanted to open this object, I wanted to hold this outputs. You can create another page and class called work page. Again, this will be a temporary page, and give this class, either you give work class or you give directly that, as you know, this is going to be your class. You just give this. Now if I put work class here, okay, now what will happen is, now the property of and context, everything will be changed based on this work page. Okay, so that means if my property value here is the value that is there in px result, right? So to get that value, what I need to do is, first thing first, I need to where is it? Where it is? It is in the temp page dot px result dot where it will be in the PYID. Okay, now dot PYID. But you need to understand, my px result here is actually a looping is actually an page list which loops, right? Now if loop, when it goes to first iteration, I want this PYID, right? 7002. When it goes to second iteration, I want this PYID 7001. To do that, if you remember in my last session, I told append, current and all these things. Here we are going to use current. So if I do here the same way, so if I do here, and I just need to write current here. So what will happen is, it based on the loop, it will pick that PYID, and then it will try to set the PYID of work page class. Okay, I hope this is clear. So now if I open the object, I open an object, and where the PYID is equal to this PYID A7702. Okay, now object open is done. Now second thing what I need to do is, I need to do a property set, right? Property set. So now everywhere I'm going to put this work page context, because now all the result, when it open the object, it opened the object of that particular case ID, right? Whatever is here. Now everything is now in the work page. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put the same work page here, and I'll say property set as, like for example, so what property I need to set? Like I told you before, ID type I need to set as other for those cases, right? Because they didn't have an option to choose ID type. Okay, ID type I'm going to set other, right? My property set is done. Now what is my next step? So I have done, I opened the object, I've set the property, and now I'm going to save the object, right? Now to save the object, what I'm going to do is, now here I'll do object save, which I've already taught you guys. So object save, here also I'm going to do a work page. Here I'm not going to do a right now, although I know it is in our case I can do that, but I always love to go for commit. Now I'll say commit, so that I will leave Pega to do the commit in a proper way. Okay, so basically what you did, here. So you loop this px result, that means you loop this one and this one, and then you open each and every object. So here you open PYID and here you open PYID as 7001. That means every time it loop and Pega try to open, basically Pega will have a clipboard page internally. So in this section, because you got two results, Pega will have two clipboard pages with him, and then it will so what it will do is it will go inside, it will try to set the property first. So that property is nothing but clipboard page of 7002. It will set the ID type as other, and then it will save and it will commit, then it will come out. That means Pega will, once it commits, Pega will lose that what to say clipboard page. Then when it will loop, it will go to the second result, and then Pega will open the another clipboard page A77001. It will do the update, it will do commit, and it will go come out and it will finish, right? Now everything looks good. But one thing you need to understand, that have you done the error handling in a proper way? That is crucial. So because what if something fails here, have you done any proper error handling? So what I do is I need to make sure my error handlings are proper. So if any of these step 1, 3 or 4 fail, I want them to log and then proceed further. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create here two extra steps. Here, what I'm going to do is here I'll say JMP. Now let's say if object open fails, here I'll put a jump condition. If step status fail, if you remember, I have shown you step status fail, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump to a later step. Okay, jump to a later step, which is JMP. Else if first continue when, and I'm going to do the same thing for object say. So I'll say step status fail. Okay, then I'll say jump to a later step, which is JMP, right? And if first continue when, and I'm also going to do the same thing over here. Step status fail, jump to a later stage, JMP. Now what you need to do is you do a property set. Okay, I'll explain you once it's done. Now here just create a temporary parameter here. What you can do, param dot, let's say execution status, or let's say put param dot status. Now here param dot status, write success. And here what you need to do is you need to call a log message. Okay, so basically what I need, every time it fails, I want them to log a message. So basically, okay, sorry, my bad, this jump condition should be here. So basically what I need is every time if it fails, I want them to directly jump here and then log the error message here, or log any message that you would like to see. For example, here let's say the update for the case ID has failed. Plus, so this is just a message, right? So you can construct this message wherein you can give the case ID also. You can do whatever you want. So let's say for example, I'll do like this, and I'll put the case ID here. This is my case ID, right? This is where still in the loop. So I'm going to, if something fails, I'm going to say update the case ID, update for the case ID has failed. And here I'll put the case ID number like that. Here instead of info, I can put error, because this is error, right? I can put error, and you can do all kind of sort of things. It is just a log message, means it will log into the Pega logs, so that you, if at all something failed, then you can find them from the Pega logs. So now what so if I do another way, right? If I do another quick read, so what I'm doing is if my object open fail, then it jump directly here, log the message, okay, and then it comes out of the activity, it will go for the another loop. If my object say fail, it does the same thing. If my commit fails, it does the same thing. But what if it is a normal, right? So if it is object open successful, property set successful, object save, commit successful. Now it will come here and I'll say param dot status is success. Now here I need to put a when cut, because when it is success, obviously I cannot log the message saying that it is failed, right? I need to skip this one. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say param dot status. Here I'll put a condition here. I'll say param dot status equal to success, right? So if is equal to success, I am going to exit this iteration. not the activity. Remember, because if it is success, I don't want to log, so I just need to exit this px result iteration, and then I need to go to the next iteration. Sorry, my when condition is gone. So I'll say param dot status equal to succl, say success. Then I'll say exit the iteration. If false, continue where. Okay. Now I'll submit. Okay. So now I'll save it. Now just read it out. Let's see if we have handle both success and failure scenario or not. So we looped it, we open the object, we set the property, we save the object, we commit it, and then we set a temporary status as success. And now here when it comes, param status equal to success, yes, success, then it will exit the iteration, it will go to the next result. Now error scenario, if at all something fails, it will come here, it will log the message, and it will go to the next step. So this is how you need to write the activity. Now let's do the magic and try to run this and then open that, right? Now enough of talking, let's do some execution. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the activity, but what I'm going to do is internally I'm going to play the tracer so that if something fails, then I'm going to see that. So okay, now operation completed successfully, but return no content, obviously, because I have hidden that so page. Now let me pause the tracer. Okay. Now we'll see whether those cases are updated or not. So what are my case IDs? My case ID is 7001 and 7002. Now I'll go here and open this 7001. Okay. Now let me first go and see in the clipboard whether this case ID is updated or not. If I go to PY work page, now if you see my ID type is already updated. Now because my ID type updated, then when I do begin, obviously I could able to see both the ID type and ID number. If you remember earlier, the ID number was hidden and ID type was blank because of the condition. Now because I have updated the ID type as other, now ID number is open. Now one thing I wanted to see I did begin, right? Means I have here again open the object. If my object would have had the lock, right, I couldn't have done this one. So I'll show you in the tracer first. So let's go to the steps that I have written, and then I'll show you. So update inside cases. So if you see update inside cases, right, this is where it started, right? Now first it got the result. Now if you see temp-page.px result, right? Can you see temp-page.px result 1? And then here in this result 1, you got 7002. Now similarly, you'll have temp-page.px result 2. See temp-page.px result 2, right? Now here if you see my 7001, let me open this one. Sorry. So here step 1, I'm doing a object browse. Now here step 1, if you see step 1, okay, here what I'm doing a object browse. My object browse is finishing in this one, right? This is where my object browse is finished. Good, step end, right? Now what will happen is, now here if you see step 3.0, right? Step 3.0 means my step 3 is this one. 3.0 where I am looping them, right? Now it looped temp-page.px result 1. Then I open the object. Now if you see, I have finished object open is here, right? Now this is where the object open step end. Okay, that means it opened the object. Now when it opened the object, if there is a way, so if you see, because I put acquire lock, I told to hold the lock, right? That's why if you see acquire lock, and this is the class where it acquires lock, that is called data.pr_sys_lock. This is the class where it will create a record in. See, if you see, there is insert, right? Insert into this particular class means that's how Pega is going to acquire a lock. That means that's how Pega is going to insert a record to this particular table to acquire the lock. Now what I did, step status fail. I have in the jump condition, I said step status fail. No, it didn't fail. That's why it became false and it moved to property set. Now it set the property. Now if you see in this work page, right, all the information that I have is for 7002. So as you could see, if I say PYID, you see 7002. Now this is the work page which temporarily Pega has created because we have told them to create, and we have passed them as part of the step page, which holds the case ID. Now once it holds the case ID, now it will update the property on the work page itself. So if I go work page here, because property set activity end right here, if I go, it would have already updated the ID type. So if I put ID type as other, right? Now it has updated. Now once it updated, then it did an object save. Okay. Now if you see, then I call commit here. Okay, at this point. Now what I told in object open, I told on commit release the lock on commit. Because we call commit here, what happened, if you could see, Pega has released the lock. Okay, so that's how you gonna see that. Okay, Pega has released the lock. Now it is all good to use by other. Now here, if you remember, once it finished everything, then it looked and it tried to execute the same thing for tempage.px result. Now because it released the log and it updated everything, that's why I could able to open this 7001. So if you see 7002 also, I'll do a action and refresh. Now if you see, if I click on begin means technically I am as a user opening the object by acquiring the log. So if I click on begin means I as a user open the object by acquiring the log. So if you see, this is also updated. Now I'll save window. If I'm closing means I'm again releasing the log for other user to open. So this is how Pega works, and this is the exact way we have written the activity steps also. Now we have tested the success scenario. Now let's test the exception scenario to make sure that our jump condition works. So what you can do is you can let's log in with a new operator. Let's say don't use the same operator. Just log in a new operator, and then I'll show you. So I've logged in as a new operator. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the App Explorer, open Activity Advanced Concept, and then just open either 7001 or let's open 7002. Now here let this other operator take the lock. So now this operator administrator has taken the lock on the particular object. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run as a PEGAhut admin operator, right? Now if I run this operator, it will fail over there and it will complain saying that the lock has already been acquired, right? Now I'll turn on the tracer. So now I will get two results, out of which one will be failed, another one will be successful. Now let me run this one and show you guys. Now if you see here, so you could see some fail happening. So there has been issue, and please consult your system administrator. So if you go here, now if I go all the way down, okay, let me search my update inflight cases. So if you see update inflight cases, when it tries to open right, it's something failed. Now what has failed, if you click on this one, it will say cannot obtain a lock on instance xyz blah blah blah. So this one, because as requested, this guy has already have a lock on the object. Now because it has got a lock on the object, that's why it was unable to acquire the lock. Now if you see here, after 3.1 step, it directly went to 3.6 because of the jump condition. What I told step status fail, if it is fail, then you go to the 3.6 where I do the log message, right? So that's why it went and saw the log message, and by then param status, obviously it is not success, so it is false. So that's why it went and logged the message in the in the error one. Now how do you see that log message? So we obviously need to see that log message, right? So what you can do is you can go search for logs here. Now once you go here, Dev Studio System Operation and Logs, click on here. Here there is something called log file. You click on the log file. Here there is something called Pega Logs, right? This is where you need to go. So if you click on this Pega rule, that's where you could able to see the error message. So if you see here, right? So if you see here, you see the update case ID for the case ID has failed for 7002, because that's where we had the log, and that's where if you see the tracer is why it failed. So if you see 7002 is the one which failed, and that's the reason why you could able to see them on the log also. So this is how, if at all you are running this utility and it failed in production, then you can go and check the logs for which case ID it failed. If there are no error, that means it got succeed for everything. So that's it for today's lesson. So I'll just quickly recap on what all we have learned so far from all the activities that I have taught you guys. So what all we have learned? We have learned the detailed theoretical concept of activity from each and every tab, how to use the level to comment or to jump, and how to loop a page list, and how to write when condition and exit the activity when we don't want them to be executed. Couple of methods like property set, so page, object methods, and there are other couple of methods which I have taught you guys. There are step pages, and I have shown you guys how to define those step pages in page and class, and how those step pages can change the context and how you're going to use that. And also we learned about how to use the jump condition so that it can jump from another one place to another place. And also we learned about how to use the parameter page and parameter tab. Hope you understood, and if you got any queries, then feel free to email me or put them in comment section. I would love to answer them. And also stay tuned for my next video. Thanks for watching, and please hit the like button if you have learned something from this video or you like the way I have explained. And leave me a comment if you have any queries or feedback for me. That is going to motivate me for sure to post more videos. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe and click on the bell icon so you can get all my latest video updates. Like I tell always, sharing is caring. So do share with others so people who don't know about my channel will be benefited. See you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.